On today's sort of episode of Entrepreneurship Unplugged, I am sitting here at Rome Airport on a very wet and rainy day. And while on the way to the airport, I was listening to, as I often do, to an enormous amount of very interesting podcasts. And one particularly caught my attention, which is around how complex the world is, or at least appears to be getting. The world has always been in flux with ideas, innovation, change, things that can scare a lot of people who feel a little bit insecure as to their place. You know, we always had transitions, there's nothing particularly new about that. But we live in a time when obviously all this change, innovation, whether it's artificial intelligence, multilingual, I can't even say the word, large language models, and so forth, makes it all very easy to be involved, to feel like you're part of this, to hear everybody's opinion around how scary, how many jobs we can lose, how everything is going to change so quickly, how robots will replace it, etc., etc. And I'm not arguing whether the fears are right or wrong. All I'm arguing is that these kind of fears about change have always happened. And the focus of today's episode is a reflection around the fact that in this day and age, there can be 6 answers to a question. So the idea, and it was so beautifully encapsulated in an interview Barack Obama was part of, where he suggested that you thrive in this world when you accept the fact that you can be right, but so can the person you disagree with. In other words, each person's circumstances, environment, can justify that person's position. So, hey, I have this view, this is my interpretation of the world, of the events, of the facts, and that's my statement. But you could have seen the same thing from a different angle, from a different cultural perspective, from a different geographical perspective, and see the same thing from different eyes and describe it in a way that is also accurate for you. And so those who will survive in this day and age are going to be those who accept that there isn't one correct answer. And that leads me also to what this podcaster was sharing, and he was examining why, for example, do we see around the world the rise of really completely out of date and, I dare I say, literally incompetent people like Trump. And I don't mean this from a political perspective. I'm not arguing Republican, Democrat, or whether one party and the other is right or wrong. But it made me reflect, or the podcaster was reflecting how there's a rise of these populist leaders, in part because they promise a simpler world, a world that used to be, that doesn't exist anymore and cannot be achieved. So in Trump's case, not arguing against Trump specifically, but in Trump's case, his slogan is "Make America Great Again." So he goes around after topics and promises, "I will make America how it used to be," which is an absolute falsehood. It's not a promise anybody can maintain. But it is a promise that for many people who are scared of a modern world, who are confused by it, who are threatened, is an alluring promise, despite knowing fully well that it is not realistically achievable. People go for people who seem to be confident in a simple, one perspective, one-sided solution. Hey, it's okay, it's not complicated. I will make things simple by disregarding all other options, and we're going to stick to one answer. It doesn't matter if it's a wrong answer. It doesn't even matter if it's a lie. And we see that as well often in entrepreneurship, in business. We are attracted to leaders who say, no, this is how the strategy is going to be. And that leads often to this false sense of, that person knows exactly, where maybe we should invite much more the scientific leader, which says, okay, I've been thinking about it. It reminds me of a case study of ABMB, Azea Brown Bovary, where the CEO was perhaps one of the most understated CEOs I ever heard speak. And he was sharing how his role is not to know best. His role is to bring out the best from the people, and sometimes it means 2-3 different approaches. So if anything you take away from today's Entrepreneurship Unplugged is accept the fact that there's not going to be an absolute answer, that when you're looking for a solution, when you need advice on finding clients, financing, funding, writing a proposal, putting your CV, creating your LinkedIn profile, there may be multiple solutions and all of them are correct. And you're going to have to figure out what works and what doesn't. So unfortunately, the days of, hey, here's the answer, use this and it will work, are numbered, which is also exciting and understandably a little bit scary. I am very excited about this. I do have days when I go, it feels a bit too much, and that's okay. I allow myself to be a little bit nervous from time to time. So if you feel a little bit overwhelmed by the world, if you feel like, oh my God, I wish I had just a straight, clean answer, then today, take away from today's little episode, it's okay. It's normal. It's part of who we are. The world can sometimes feel a bit confusing and we can long for a simple answer. But appreciate yourself, accept yourself, be nice and kind to yourself, and just take a deep breath, go for a nice walk and process things and make the best decision that you can do with the information you have. That's okay. And with that, I wish you a wonderful, wonderful day.